And welcome to episode 3 of the So Long and Thanks for All the Innovation podcast. Episode 3. Not a one-off, not a leader and a follower. Now it's a movement. And I'm excited today to talk about why the National Science Foundation has no home. Let's start with a few facts. In late June, employees at the National Science Foundation, the NSF, about 1,800 of them, got some interesting news. They were being kicked out of their building. The NSF, which had moved into its shiny LEED-certified headquarters in Alexandria, Virginia, just 8 years ago, was told to get out. Why? Because the Department of Housing and Urban Development was moving in. The very next day, the General Services Administration, the agency in charge of all the federal government's real estate, confirmed this news. HUD needed space, the move was happening, and the reason given? Federal efficiency. That's it. No detailed description or rationalization, no long-term relocation plan for the NSF, no warning, just pack up your research grants and hey, good luck. Now, to be clear, I am not here to bash HUD. By all accounts, they have been operating out of an outdated shithole for years. I believe they deserve a decent working environment. The problem is not that HUD got some new digs. It's that one of the most important science agencies in the country just got shoved aside like someone who overstayed their lease at the Airbnb. And barely a nod of concern from anyone in the federal government. Well, what about the NSF employees, you might ask? Well, they are a little bit upset. Protesting in the lobby, chants of "we won't go." Now, this is usually a pretty reserved group, not exactly known for their spontaneous, direct protests. But this is hardly the first blow to this agency in the last 6 months. And honestly, it seems unlikely the beatings will stop until morale improves. Here's why this matters. The National Science Foundation isn't just another 3-letter agency in the federal government. It's the country's premier funder of basic science. The slow, curiosity-driven, blue-sky research that doesn't necessarily turn a profit tomorrow, next year, honestly, even the next decade. NSF is where things begin, before they become vaccines or GPS or gene sequencing or AI. Think about the internet. Before it was your favorite ad delivery machine, it was a government-funded research experiment. And NSF-Net helped provide its critical backbone back in the 1980s. Was there a stampede of commercial investors in the early 1980s? No, it was incredibly speculative. It was slow. It was used by a bunch of geeky scientists to send files and emails to each other. That's what NSF does, though. It funds things the market isn't ready to fund. NSF doesn't have to deliver quarterly results or respond to shareholders. It's supposed to be speculative. So when you hear that NSF got evicted from its headquarters, it really isn't just a space issue. It's a signal, a flashing red warning about what we as a country and our policymakers are prioritizing and what we are willing to simply disregard. It's really not just about an office building, especially when you zoom out and you realize this is happening alongside the proposed federal budget for fiscal year 2026, and that budget cuts, or I should say proposes to cut, 56% from NSF's budget. That's not belt tightening. That's kneecapping. Look, basic research usually doesn't make headlines until it saves lives, or the economy, or the planet. And if you cut funding now, but then you need a little innovation a few years later, well, by then, it's usually too late. So yes, HUD may need new space, but the idea that you can just shuffle NSF off to some TBD location, no plan, no notice, no public comment, while at the same time trying to cut its budget in half, says a lot about where science stacks up in the list of national priorities. Now, you might think something this big, literally displacing the headquarters of a major federal agency, would get some congressional attention, right? You'd be wrong. I went looking through the new FY 2026 appropriations reports, Senate and House, and guess what? Not a single mention. No paragraph, no footnote, no relocation support language. It's like it never happened. And since this is called the So Long and Thanks for All the Innovation podcast in tribute to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, let's equate this to a situation experienced by our protagonist Arthur Dent. In the Hitchhiker's Guide, Arthur finds out his house is about to be bulldozed. He is justifiably furious. When he questions the planning council, he's told that the plans were on public display. However, it turns out they were on public display in the basement of a disused laboratory behind a locked door with a sign that said, "Beware of the leopard." That's about how transparent this decision to evict NSF has been. Someone in the federal government signed off. The White House gave it a shrug. Congress, for the most part, seems not to have noticed, with the slight exception of 2 leading Democrats on the Science Committee, but oddly the Trump administration seems to be ignoring their outreach. It's like writing a letter to the Vogons asking why Earth's about to be destroyed, and all you get back is, "Don't panic." Now, the good news, if you're at all prepared for that kind of thing, is that Congress may be ignoring the building, but they aren't ignoring the budget the White House has proposed. And here's where there's a ray of sunshine and some unicorns and lollipops. The White House said give NSF just under $4.5 billion. The House of Representatives has countered with $7 billion, and the Senate with $9 billion, or just about no cut at all. Good for Congress. And good for innovation, though these budgets are not final yet. And to be fair, last year Congress never even finished their work. So no one should be counting chickens quite yet. Even if, in the end, Congress does ignore the proposed White House cuts, the discordance in Washington between high rhetoric on the power of science and technology to change the world from AI to energy, and the budgets and the disregard for the people tasked to make this happen remains. Science and technology require strategic, long-term thinking, and nothing about the current process has the hallmarks of that kind of vision. So to bring it home today, if you are someone who thinks science should still matter, that it should be a national priority and treated as such, that we should make room, literally and figuratively, for long-term basic research, now would be a good time to say something. You can find more coverage of this topic and related ones on my Substack. Go subscribe, it's free, and for now, so long, and thanks for all the innovation.